Hey guys, it's been a while. Yeah, just got back from Texas. I attempted the Raccoon 100-mile race. Um, so much to say about the race. It was one of the worst races for me, anyways. I made light of a lot of circumstances, which is something you do in that distance. But um, yeah, it just turned out to not be my day. I made the mistake of not checking in or getting my bib the Friday when I got there. Um, I just was like, you know what? Like, my hotel was about half an hour away from the race event grounds or whatever. So I was like, no, you know what? I've done lots of these races because they make you check in the morning anyways. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get everything race morning because I still had a lot of like prepping for my race. My nutrition that I was prepping the night before, I was making mashed sweet potato, honey, and cinnamon in my reusable pouches. So that's something that worked really well for me at Iron Legs. So that is now a race tactic because for some reason when I'm racing, and I'm not sure if this is a regular or a common occurrence with other athletes, but I don't want anything sharp or dry and crumbly or dusty in my mouth when I'm racing. So crackers, nuts, anything that's sharp or like even sometimes potato chips, unless they're softer brands like Lay's, like if they're like any kettle cooked chips, it actually feels like tiny salty razor blades are in my mouth and it takes so much energy. So I noticed that I really like soft foods. I can have a mashed up sweet potato, whether it's hot or cold, and I can go through that like it was awesome. So I prepped two big sweet potatoes. I mashed them and cooled them down in the fridge, and then I put them into my pouches. And I just noticed that, excuse me, I like to put a little honey and a little cinnamon in just because the sweet potato by itself, um, I'm more of a sweet person than a savory person. So I like the honey as well as the cinnamon because it kind of makes it seem like a dessert. Um, so I was prepping that. I made a spaghetti and meat sauce in the hotel. I got a hotel with a kitchen, um, so that I could make my own food. I'm pretty good at traveling and being able to eat pretty much anything, but I have had experiences where I've given myself food poisoning by not prepping my own dinner. Um, so yeah, it was an awesome night before. I didn't really get to bed early enough as I'd like to. Um, So when I woke up the next day for race morning, I made the plan to leave at 5 a.m. and the race started at 6. So I was like, okay, yeah, if we leave no later than 5, of course we're running a little bit behind, but the reason why my race was so bad was because I made the mistake of not going there the night before and checking out the entry into the Huntsville State Park. So this park is very limited for parking, and in order to gain access, you have to pay a token or pay a entry fee, and then this little arm goes up. So they only let one car in at a time with payment. And I didn't experience such chaos last year because I was in the 100K distance and that started at 7 a.m. So the 6 a.m. start, because there was so many people coming really early as well for the 100K, I didn't know how early I needed to be because I didn't go the night before. But I we were in line in the traffic up at the, like, it was like, I don't know, over a mile away from the start line. And I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing we can do. Like, I was like, okay, well, you know what? Like, if there's this much traffic, like, I was like trying to be patient because I was like, didn't want to cause a scene, and I didn't know how far away from that payment gate to the race start was. So I was like, no need to panic yet. Like, I still had like 10 minutes. And then it just got worse and worse. We paid. And then I realized that I had like 5 minutes to get down there. And we weren't getting parking. And finally, this guy flagged us over to the side. And he's like, no, there's no parking. You have to park up here. And I looked at my crew, my boyfriend Kyle, and I was like, this is like nowhere near the race site. So I started panicking. And then, of course, I just grab my race stuff and I just start walking. Like, I don't even, like, I'm like, no, I'm just started walking. And then I saw the freaking 100-milers with their headlamps pass. And it was way later than I thought. So I started, and I was like, where's the race start line? And a guy told me, he's like, you're a mile away. So I started sprinting, like, and I was like panicking, like I was going like, because of course I was crying, like I was like not handling it very well because I still had to get my chip, and I didn't have my gloves. Luckily I grabbed my race vest. I was already wearing it, but I didn't really I didn't have like a long sleeve. Like I wasn't ready because I had my like parka over. But I gave it to Kyle. I was like, hold this. And I just fucking started booking it. And I didn't even care what Kyle was doing. I was like, I need to get to my race. And like that decision, luckily for me, I just started running because originally when we were waiting in the traffic, I was like, you know what? Sometimes when this happens, they kind of like push the start of the race back. No, they didn't do that. So my own fault for not showing up like 2 hours before. I'm used to kind of winging things, and I'm not a person that shows up 2 hours before. I'm always like, okay, I'll just like roll in. I started over the start line at 6:20 or 6:19 in the morning. So I was behind everyone by 19 or 20 minutes. And I had my visor on. I didn't have my headlamp. Like usually when I run at night, I'll flip my visor around so that my headlamp is on the band from my visor. And I didn't do that because I was running, panicking. And I was so mad too. Like there was so much stress in my body. It was like starting a race, sprinting for a mile. I am not that fit to be sprinting at the start of my race. I didn't warm up properly. I was crying. Everyone who I checked in with saw me crying. I was like so delirious, and I hadn't even started running. But one of the volunteers had my race shirt, and she's like, this is your shirt. And I thought that she was trying to give me someone else's shirt, and I was like, that's not my shirt. And I was like, I have to go. So she just kept my race shirt. But like halfway through that lap, I was like, oh my God, that was my race shirt that I was like saying wasn't my shirt. So anyways, I was like running, trying to figure out my headlamp. And of course, splat, I pancaked on the ground because Raccoon has stumps, it's not a race that you can run without a headlamp or a really good light. So I had my visor front and my headlamp on top. And the visor was like blocking. It wasn't facing, the light wasn't going down close to my feet. So, and then of course my boyfriend was calling me to see if I had started the race. And I was messing around with my phone. Again, splat, hit the ground. And I didn't know, but I picked up the phone and he's like, oh, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. I keep falling down. And then, of course, I hit the ground again. I fell 3 times, like, within the first kilometer of the race. It was so frustrating. And then I realized I didn't have my gloves. I was just running in my t-shirt, my shorts, my running vest. I had no gloves. And I have a condition in my hands where they just get a little cold. and I can't use them. Like they start freezing and it's like painful. So I was quite upset because I was not only running by myself in the dark, but I was 20 minutes behind, and it was just all, you know, I went to Texas to go and do this 100 mile and complete it. And anyways, I made light of the situation, ended up having a really good day. I ended up catching up with the 100 milers, of course, because they were all going slow. And I think that's why I ended up only making it to mile 70, is because I had that crazy start to my race. And I am not fit enough to have that kind of stress at the start of my race and sprint to. But I had a really cool day. I actually saw a lot of cool athletes, talked with a lot of great people. You know, Texans are pretty cool. They're great spirited people. It was such a nice day. It was so hot. My second lap was definitely hard. I had some back issues, and I learned one of the girls that was pacing a friend actually like told me, she's like, oh, don't you know those sports bras that have the crosses in the back or like go down between your shoulder blades, those put pressure on your back. So and I had no idea. I was raised by my dad, so I didn't know. But every single sports bra I have is like cross, or it's like, so, and as soon as I got back from my race, I bought 2 new bras that just have straps that don't cross down the middle of my back. And I swear my back pain has completely gone away. So thanks to that girl, Amanda, who told me that little tidbit, because if a girl never told me that, I would be still wearing those awful sports bras that were causing pain, and I would have thought that it was my posture, or you know, I didn't know what it was. I kept spending money on chiro. I thought it was my bed for a bit. Like, you know, you go through all the symptoms and causes and come up with solutions on your own, and spend a lot of money trying to figure it out with chiros. But yeah, I guess it was a simple answer as a bra. So don't wear cross back racer back bras if you're a woman, because it'll cause back pain. I swear back pain's gone away ever since I stopped wearing those. So yay. But yeah, I'm back to the race. So it's really cool. I had some really good learning lessons. One of the things that happened was I had a really, really, really good third lap. I PR'd the 100K distance time from last year by like almost an hour. So I was running in from my third lap, which was really, really cool. And I was feeling really, really good. Excuse me. I started to have major issues after 100 kilometers. And it wasn't issues with, it wasn't like muscle pain. It was like hip impingement issues. So my rule of thumb with running ultras is that as soon as you feel anything in your joints, like clicking or like electrocuting shock pain or like lightning bolts or anything that's really, really harsh pain, that's when I start to wonder if it's like good for you or not. So the sensation that I was going through after 100K was in my right hip flexor. And what was happening was I was hearing like a clicking sound. So it felt like there was like bone on bone from just either a tight quad or something that was happening. I have some alignment issues because I've had a couple surgeries on my pelvis, but I have compensation stuff going on, and no one's body is perfect, but and my body's really, really strong, and I do a lot with it. But you know, sometimes it's just there's this weird stuff that goes on after so many kilometers, and I think I made the mistake of stopping too much. Like I looked after my time. I did 70 miles and just under 21 hours, and I had like 3.5 hours of stop time. So, and that was because I was kind of racing with a friend, and I was like waiting for him, and then and helping him, like he didn't have a headlamp for a good portion of the second lap, and he wanted me to walk with him and call out the routes, and I was doing that. And I was like a teammate, like he's like my good buddy. And then as soon as he got his headlamp, he just like lost me. He just lost me. So and I couldn't keep up with him because he was running with a pacer, and she was a girl, and I think that he kind of had a crush on her. So um he was like, yeah, he's running too fast. And I was kind of like, hey, I'm not going to run with him that fast. But it was just interesting that um, I was helping and waiting and being a teammate with him. And like, someone rolled their ankle, and I stopped to give them some arnica and like just say like, oh, you should have seen me fall. We all fall. And like, you made it look good, like, um, and I always kind of like stop and help people out. Like I have like a first aid kit with me, and I never actually use any of the stuff in it, but like it's like more or less so that I can help people if I see people needing help. And my friend that was with me, he like didn't even stop to like look and see if she was okay. So that's okay. I think that there's some people who are a little more competitive, and my reason for racing isn't to like step over people so that I can do well. It's more to make sure that everyone um, has the best shot at reaching their goals. So, oh yeah, I had such a good crew too. My crew is amazing. He's a CrossFitter, so he takes everything seriously, and he sat with me for like an hour when I knew I was done, and he was trying to wheel me back in, and it was hard because it was 2 a.m, and he was trying to get some rest. So I hadn't seen him, and I'd been over threshold and in that pain state for so long. And I didn't bring my poles down to Texas because I didn't know if they would be considered a weapon, like on carry-on, because I never like check baggage because I've had my baggage lost so much. So I was like, you know what, they might think it's a weapon. I might not be able to bring it. I made a mistake of not bringing my poles for sure. So, but yeah, did the race in the NORDA 1As, and they were pretty fresh out of the box when I brought them down. They have about 100 kilometers on them now. You can kind of see that just the like brand new lugs are just kind of worn down on the back of the foot. But these are pretty much similar to the original ones, but they just felt a little bit better, less stiff right out of the box. I don't know why, because now I'm kind of laughing, and I was saying to a friend, I was like, you know what, I think when NORDA says that there's a 100-kilometer break-in period, I think what NORDA actually means, not the shoe takes 100 kilometers to break in, but your foot takes 100 kilometers, this back part, to break into these shoes. So I think it actually takes like your feet getting a little bit tougher to not have that cushion in the back part of the heel to be able to tolerate those minimalist shoes. Because now I don't have any issues with the NORDAs. They used to just give me blisters nonstop, and it took, I'd say, about 100, maybe even 200 kilometers for my feet to get used to these shoes. But then with the new pair and my winter ones, I had no blisters. So I have my gear dialed. I have everything I need. I took my new headlamp out, that Petzl or Petzl Nano RL. Oh my gosh, that's a game changer. I had it on the lowest intensity, and I don't know why I do this. I have these like weird hoarding or like irrational tendencies when I'm racing, because I'm like, oh, I'm only going to use the lowest setting because I'm going to be out here forever. And then like I trip and I end up only making it 20 hours or something like that. But like, um, I'm always worried about running out of my headlamps. So I have it always on the lowest setting, and like I have the highest quality headlamps, but like I'm all, and like I'll have my chest lamp and my like my Visi vest, and I don't use it unless I lose my battery or like my battery runs low. So I got another backup Visi vest so I don't have to be this like weird hoarder who like has all these lights but won't turn them on. Um, so yeah, I don't know what my next plan is, but I'm not ready to give up on the 100-mile distance. I was really disappointed because I had lots of time. I probably could have walked another, you know, 5 kilometers. Who knows? Sometimes stuff turns itself around, but I was at such a bad place with that clicking feeling. I was kind of worried. And I know my body so well. Like, I know when, like in Iron Legs, I knew it was just muscles and my legs were dead and they just weren't cooperating. This was something different. This was like I had something going on in my hip, in my joint. So, um, it's okay. I think it's pretty cool that I made it to 70 miles. So that's the farthest distance I've ever made it to, is 112 or 113 kilometers, which is pretty cool. I really wanted to make it to at least 120 so I could say I did 3 marathons, but I'm super proud. I did really well. I learned who my friends were. I'm like, yeah, I I don't need to talk ill about anyone, but I definitely learned who my friends were, and if people have my best intentions out or if they're competitive, because I think that's some of my friends that are really, really good friends, and then they get into competition and they're really competitive. So I think there's space to be friends with people, and then maybe just next, like, I shouldn't be waiting at aid stations for another person if that they're not doing that. For me, like I should be making that call, and um, that maybe I should be less willing to run with people and more willing to just go race my own race and enjoy the day. I think that it's I kind of wanted to run with my friend because he had a pacer as well. So I think that I wanted to kind of keep up with them and be included. And I think that it kind of hurt my feelings when they were purposely running ahead of me. And then, like, they were always just a little bit ahead of me. And um, yeah, it was just interesting. And um, it's too bad because my race shirt was actually taken by that friend, in the midst of 100 milers. We were always like changing shirts, and I took off my wet stuff from the day and put on like a long sleeve shirt and grabbed my jacket, and I think I changed shorts because like even my shorts and my underwear were wet from like just we were like dumping water on me because it was really hot and I don't train in the heat. Um, but yeah, I changed, and in the midst of like all the chaos, somehow my race shirt was misplaced, and yeah, that's too bad. But I have memories for life, so that's good. I don't know if I'll go back and do Rocky Raccoon again, um, but I'm not giving up on the 100-mile distance. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Like I don't have because this was supposed to be kind of my qualifying run for um, the 2027 season for getting a lottery ticket, but um, that's okay. I think I will find a race to complete. We have a couple 100-kilometer ones that will get you a ticket to Western States, but who knows what'll happen. I don't really know what I want to do or focus on this year, but I've been really enjoying my time in the mountains. So the good thing about not being too beat up after your race is being able to return to training. So I wore compression socks on the plane home, and that really helped my feet this year. Last year I didn't, and my feet ballooned up like crazy. I also flew back the morning after the race. So lots of differences this year, and now I know that it's better to take that extra day and walk around and move around and then get on the plane, not on Sunday morning. So, um, yeah, I'm moving to a new place again, March 1st. So there's quite a lot going on, lots of changes in my life, but things are going really well. And looking forward to the season this year in the mountains. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but yeah, I'm sure it'll be awesome. And yeah, I just wanted to update you on the NORDA 1As and Rocky Raccoon 100 mile. Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying.